We are live. What is going on, Nissan Nation? This is Dave and maybe Danny.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I hope so.
Hopefully you can hear us. Maybe.
You know what? I have a notification, Dave. Oh, it's an ad. We're making money off me.
That's right.
Oh, I see myself. Look, Dave, we're live together for the first time ever. I'm gonna click out of that on my phone so it doesn't make the wormhole stop.
Right. Well,
we're doing it, brother.
If you could, hey, Danny, can you look at your phone and can you hear me talking and see you and all that?
Let's see it again. We are. Oh, we're good. This is a live.
But can you see
this
you?
This is the first ever, Dave.
Can you see you?
I can hear both of us. I can see and hear both of us.
Because it's your screen on my end is kind of white.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, it started out good.
Yeah, I'm working on it. There it goes.
Started out good.
Maybe. I think it's part of its processor.
I disappeared. What happened? Hey guys, if you're listening to this right now and you're probably looking at Dave at a white screen, we are really testing the waters right now. We had a really good idea. That it's cool because you've got a nice little thumbnail on the side of you, Dave.
I'm about to move that.
But oh, you had to come back there for a minute. I popped in and then I popped out. Are you getting it?
Yeah, I think you're on just a slight delay.
I'm back in. I've listened to myself talk about myself earlier in my same self. Marty McFly would be a very, very happy guy right now. Look at this. If you guys want to know what happened, here it is. Dave, we're live.
We are live, dude. All right, I moved the logo, Danny.
No, the logo was good. I was saying it was good.
No, I'm moving it to the center of this here.
Oh. Well, you know what? Dave, let me officially give a solid cheers to you for the technology insight, and I want to give a solid cheers to all of those watching or who are going to be watching in the future. Cheers from the Nissan Nation podcast. We are moving upward and onward, and we are going to be bringing you live podcasts, dual videoed podcasts, so you guys can see and be part of and enjoy the podcast experience that we do, because we love all you guys. We love all your insight and all the fun. So, welcome to the live Nissan Nation podcast from across the country here on YouTube. Dave, cheers to you, brother. Way to work your cheeks off to get this show going.
Well, hey, it's not I won't say it's a perfect thing yet, Danny, but we're working on it.
Listen, man, we got baby steps. Baby steps, Dave.
That's right, man. We gotta get you some better lighting over there, by the way, buddy.
Yeah, I'm all backlit, and then you know what? My video on my computer, it looks like it's all slim. Maybe I can get a little. You know what? I got my ostrich pillow right here. Let me see if I can clean it up a little bit. I don't think that helped at all. Well, we'll work on that. You know what? Again, we're just starting this thing off, and so you guys bear with us as we try and figure things out.
Yeah, we are trying to figure some things out, guys. So please, this is just a test. If you guys if you're on here and have questions, please hit us up here. I should be able to see it. It looks like we got 3 viewers right now. Once again, we know this is probably very horrible, but we're trying something new. We're trying to do we really do want to bring you guys the podcast when we do it, the audio version. We want to do it live with you guys. So, let me type something.
This is a full test of the NNP broadcast system. We will talk about stuff here in a minute, as long as we're 100% good on the good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got some people here. It popped up, Dave. Can you see and hear us? I saw that on my end, and I'm logged into YouTube. So
well,
we're good to go, Dave. Let's get this goat running.
let's talk a little bit. So this isn't an official podcast, guys. Once again, we were just testing our live capabilities. But Danny, we've been trying to do this for like 2 years. You realize that?
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it, to tell you the truth. And when you text me or messaged me earlier today and said, I think I got it figured out, and you know what, you spent a little bit of time this evening getting it squared away, and all of a sudden we're doing it. I'm pretty stoked about it.
Well, so Danny...
Brian Turnquist is, I think he's on, he's watching, and he's enjoying, and we wanted to give a shout-out to Brian for popping up. As soon as we went it live, he was there. He was ready to go for us. So, Brian... How you doing, buddy?
All right, I'm going to share this link to our Facebook group.
Nice.
And see if we can find
That's
some
old
people.
Boondocks. For those of you that don't know, Brian Turnquist, a.k.a. Boondocks, has a really sweet, bright orange, well, we'll call it I think it's rhino-lined or raptor-lined bright orange solid axle swap Frontier with a bobbed bed, and it's a tubular bobbed bed. He's a good friend of the show. He's been chatting with us on a couple of the wind rocks and stuff. And he may have popped in on a Gun Mob show. I can't remember. But he's here watching, and I appreciate you, Brian. Way to hop in and say hi. One of our good buddies. Dave's sharing this out, so maybe we can get some more people hopping in here. Dave, let's just talk about some stuff, man. There's a lot of stuff been going on in the Nissan world.
Well, for one, we haven't officially talked in quite a bit. You realize that, right? Like, I mean, we talk all the time, but not in the N&P form, right?
Well, you've done live shows. I've done live shows. I mean, we've commented and we've chatted a little bit on one another's shows, on the live shows, but we haven't been able to sit down for a live podcast, I would say, in weeks. I mean, we've both been pretty busy. I mean, we've been pumping out videos for our own YouTube channels. Corona's been getting us. In fact, I'm drinking a little Corona mixer right now. Trying to get out of work.
Well, so Danny, what's new in your world of Nissan, buddy? I know in your live stream, of course, you know, I tried to moderate it a little bit. I couldn't not be a part of it. It felt like.
Once you let the beast loose, man, you can't just go ahead and throw a leash on him.
Somebody said, check this out. Does it get funnier with alcohol?
It will, I promise.
No, so guys, once again, this is not official. We've literally just I feel like we've popped our cherry here with a live thing. So we don't know what we're doing, but we're still pounding away. So who knows?
That's actually my good buddy Chris from Idaho. I was actually supposed to be flying out to surprise him for his military retirement Saturday or Friday. I don't remember what day it was, but we were gonna have I was stationed out in Germany with him. One of my oldest, bestest buddies, and I was gonna be flying out to meet up with him and surprise him for his military retirement. I was gonna dress up in the blues. And then Corona hit, and we got screwed, and we had to cancel everything. But, yeah, Chris is hopping on here. It's huge shout-out to Chris Ingram. 20 years in the Air Force, putting in work, serving our country, and, you know, we appreciate him. And, Chris, I'm bummed that I couldn't be out there, but I'm planning on coming back out there. And I didn't cash in the money on the tickets. It's sitting in the United account right now, so... That's money in the bank, and we're going to be coming to see you as soon as this blows over, and as soon as we have some time to bring the whole family out, buddy. So here's a cheers to you, Chris. I love you, brother, and thanks for tuning in and watching us get crazy.
So Danny, we've both had some adventures. I got to go to Z1 recently. You got to go to King of Hammers. And you got to hang with a guy that we both. It's like weird. It's like he is our middle ground. You know him?
Cody?
Yeah, Cody. He's like he comes to he goes to Moab. It's like he's our I don't know, our umbilical cord to each other. It seems like.
Yeah, we both get to see Cody. Whether he sees you or me or both or whatnot, he's a fun dude to hang out with. We always have a good time with Cody. He's a friend of the show, obviously, and you know, I mean, he's less of a friend now that he basically caused my truck to get a massive dent. If you haven't watched that video, hop on my YouTube channel, The Groot X. Shameless plug. And I got a nice solid dent on my Frontier.
Dude, I didn't realize
Did I say my
after watching that video, I didn't realize. I thought you just did it like I did, where I caved in the bottom of the fender. You somehow they crimped the whole side of the truck.
Oh yeah, that thing's a big. And I tried to pound it out. It's not popping out. That's not like a pop out dent.
Right.
I mean, maybe if I cut the bottom off, it might pop out eventually. But it's a good one. But I had fun. You know what? That's par for the course. If you're gonna go beat on your truck, you got to be ready to put it into a rock every once in a while. And
right.
That's what I did.
Well,
I
always tell people that it's like there's assumed risk in everything you do, man. And when you go out there, even if it's a moderate trail, you got to assume there's a chance that something can happen.
Yeah, but you know what was really cool is Cody let me drive his truck after that, which is kind of amazing after you slam your truck into a rock. And then your buddy gives you the keys to his. I look at him, I'm like, hey, can I drive yours? He's like, sure, man, do whatever. And he's taking me over some big old fat boulders, and that's on the NMP channel, Unique Builds, Cody Fletcher's truck. And he's got a really nice solid axle Xterra that I was able to drive and just drive over some rocks and through a little V-notch and stuff, and I had a blast. I was really impressed with his truck. It's a really cool truck, so
well, you know,
I had a fun
what's
time
cool,
doing
Danny,
that. So
if the sway bar was on, that came off of my truck.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And you've drove my truck, and you beat the piss out of my poor truck before it was sassed, so, you know, it's like a little bit of me was still there.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, so that was kind of how we did things. Is I went on King of the Hammers trip, had a fun time. You went over to Z1, obviously, and had some good time doing some burners with some Z's, with some lots of upgrades, I would say.
Yeah.
And,
dude.
And then it was my turn after that. But yeah, how was the Z world?
Well, like, you know, the car world is really interesting to me anyways, because it's a scene that I've been in, but I can't seem to, like, I don't know if it's just because a lot of the Z's are so cheap now. You get a lot of kids that get into them, and they just turn over a lot. So it's hard to, like, kind of find your Danny in that community. And so when I went down to Z1 in Atlanta, and it was just like, it was like a candy store of all the cool cars. And, like, you go into their showroom, which isn't huge right now, which they have future plans on that. But you go in there, and there's like, my favorite Z's of all time are 300 ZXs, man. I love that car. It looked like an exotic supercar to me. Like, it was so different. It was Lambo before Lambo stole its headlights.
Did Lambo steal its headlights?
Oh yeah, the Diablo, that's where the headlights came from.
I know, yeah.
And they literally cover them.
What came first, the chicken or the egg on that? Did Nissan come out with them and then Lambo stole it, or did Lambo have them and Nissan stole them?
No, because they're stamped. If you look at Lamborghini, they have a cover over the top of the headlight where they're so cheap that they're stamped Nissan on the headlights, and they just cover it up.
Nice.
But Lambo was near bankruptcy at the time, so they were just trying to steal any kind of exotic part they could. But so they have two pristine Z's in there, and they're both twin turbos. They're not normally twin turbos, but they've been twin turboed. And then they've got a 370 race car sitting in there, and a 350 race car. And then you look, and then there's the Titan Warrior concept, and you're like, does this get any better? And then, Danny, you would have loved it. They had a desert racing truck. I never told you about that. They had a desert racer sitting outside. It was nuts.
That wasn't the MA Motorsports one, was it?
No. This is what it was. A Nissan. It's a heritage Nissan.
Oh, one of the hard bodies, or was it a Pathfinder?
No, I believe it's the current style. They have. If you get on Z1, you can see some pictures of it. They have some stuff on there, but, dude, it was. And then Spencer took me in some drifting, and then he took Corbin's never been in anything more powerful than probably my Titan. He Spencer just took him sliding around, and he came back, his eyes were bugging out. And
okay, so Dave, the real question is I think a lot of people have that moment in their life, and they say, you know what, there was this one time I went here and I sat in this car and it burned the tires off, and I did this X, Y, Z. For me, I always kind of liked trucks and vehicles, whatever. But I went to Baja and I got hooked on desert racing. That's how it happened.
Right.
Do you think Corbin got a little bit of the automotive bug there?
I don't think so. I mean, I think
man, is he a lost cause yet?
No, I don't think he's a lost cause. I think Corbin needs just to be like he needs to be to a racetrack and just exposed to it and get a ride in one. And I think a lot of times too, you get hooked when you get to drive. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. So after Z1, and I mean Z1 was no little thing. We're planning on some big stuff coming in June, but let's move on to after Z1. I went on the Rogue Overland Winter Expedition out to southern Utah. We'll call it northern New Mexico, Arizona area, and I did some serious adventuring out there. Unfortunately, my red truck, the Overland Frontier, if you will, she needs a little bit of work. so I rode in a Nissan on that trip, I rode in a Toyota on that trip, but there was a few Nissans out there that I was hanging out with some of the guys from the SoCal Xterra Club and stuff like that. So, but I went on an amazing adventure with those Rogue Overland guys.
You know what sucks is I was supposed to, me and you were supposed to be out there, and Nissan was supposed to give us Destination Frontier, and then that fell through. And then, something else we were supposed to get, and that fell through. And then I had to choose basically Chicago Auto Show or do I go hang out with you? And at the time, we both knew some new Frontier, not the new Frontier was coming, but there was something new coming, so I had to go cover that. And then you get to have an adventure of a lifetime, man. I was so jealous of those pictures you kept posting.
Yeah, well, I didn't quite post the pictures, and maybe you'll see it in the video if I can ever get that up. It's a lot of video and a lot of editing because it was such a big trip. But the temperatures started at 17 degrees at night in a tent. So there are some things that you could be happy about that you didn't experience because, I had some good gear, but by night 2 I had an emergency blanket inside my 0-degree bag, and it was a little chilly, but we got through the nights. The days were amazing. It was just the nights. We were all cuddled around the fire pretty solidly, right, because of its extreme temperature changes between day and night. But it was a really cool trip. The Rogue Overland guys put on a trip that is beyond your wildest dreams. Everything is handled. Every gas stop. We had authentic Mexican tacos on the Navajo Nation, right next to a Hogan at the base of the Monument Valley on private Indian land. There's some Navajo Nation people came out and they showed us these beautiful Hogans, and I set up my shift pod right next to a Hogan, which was pretty cool. Right. I stayed on the top of a 1,000-foot cliff, like 20 feet from the edge. I woke up and there's just this amazing view of sun and just cliffs and southern Utah. It's a beautiful place. We saw one of the Indian dwellings on the side of the like a shelf mesa area. Right. There was one where we had to take a little off-road trail to check out that. There was an off-road trail where there was like 15 different water crossings. Just non-stop amazing stuff. And on top of that, the people that we went with, there's 26 trucks. The people that we went with, all of them are so cool, and we made just immediate friendships that are probably going to last a lifetime. So it was a really amazing trip. Right. Well, it sounds a lot like the Titan adventures we've been on. We've met a lot of people where it was you don't know them, but you're kindred spirits because they're car or truck people. So. But yeah, and you share that experience, and it changes things. When you share experiences together. Well, the cool thing was you got to hang with Beardo, and you got to. You were in a Toyota, and I'm not going to give you crap about that, but I love the kangaroo suits you guys were traveling around in. Yeah, we had onesie day, and I didn't even know this. This is kind of a funny story. So I was riding with my buddy Sean, and right before I left, my wife handed me a big ball of something that was taped up in blue painter's tape. Said, "You're not allowed to open this till onesie day." And I was like, "Oh, great." And so sure enough, on onesie day, I untaped the thing, and it was a giant kangaroo onesie that was matching the buddy that I was riding with. So we were wearing matching kangaroo onesies all day together. And we actually went on a slot canyon tour, and then had a special Navajo dance performed for us, and we're all over at Horseshoe Bend. We're all sitting there next to Horseshoe Bend in onesies, hanging out, watching these Navajo Nation guys do their special Navajo dance, which was really amazing. But at the same time, we look like a bunch of weirdos in onesies, like some kind of furry convention or something.
Well, there's that picture of you guys hanging over the cliff with your back to the camera, and that's a classic picture. You need to blow that picture up and put it on your wall.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Well, I am seriously though. I mean, I know it's cold, but still, you got to hang out with Bobby, with CVT, and you got to hang out with a bunch of cool people.
Yeah, Sean. Nick from Rogue Overland's great dude. Him and his wife. And then I met a bunch of other cool guys. Ian, Steve. I gotta give these guys shout outs. Ian, Steve. I'm missing one. Quith, Aaron. Just a bunch of great new friends that I've made, and I'm really stoked because there's a bunch of Vegas guys, and I'm staying in contact with them daily now. Right. And we have a lot of text back and forth, and I'm looking forward to a couple more trips that we're probably going to be planning in the future.
Well, you got to get your truck in order, man.
Yeah, exactly. So,
you've got too many. I thought I had a lot of projects, and you keep turning up new projects.
Well, speaking of projects, Dave, once we got back from that and things settled down, we both purchased some new vehicles.
We did. If you're listening to this, me and Danny really haven't got to catch up much in a couple months. Really, we chat back and forth, but not getting to talk. So yeah, we both. And you know what? That happened the same time when I got my Titan 3 years ago. I was standing at the dealership, and you called me and said, "You're never going to believe what I just bought." And I said, "Well, you're never going to believe what I just bought." And you're like, "Well," and you're like, "I got a Z," and I was like, "Do I need to one up you because I just got a new Titan?"
Yeah, it's weird because I wasn't planning on buying another truck, and somehow my brother-in-law was going to trade his truck in for pennies. And I said, well, I'll give you that much money. You might as well sell it to me. I'll give you, $100 more than what the dealership's going to give you.
Right.
And, $100 is $100, And so I picked up a 2004 Frontier, and next thing you know, Dave's out shopping for a vehicle. I think Dave's got keeping up with the Grooters or something over there. he can't let me buy something without him buying something back.
Oh, we've got Mr. Kevin Copeland on here now, Danny. Better watch out.
The Cope? Dang. A true legend of his own right.
That's right. But yeah, so me and you've been talking for a while that we needed something fun on the podcast. I don't expect the new project car to get a ton of views, but it's just fun for me, and it's fun to put some content out. But you get a cool first gen Frontier, and I get a Juke. And I don't know. I think you were more.
Don't say cool first gen Frontier, because really, Dave, it's a 4-cylinder manual Frontier.
But you wouldn't want it to be an automatic.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's not a manual. It's a 4-cylinder automatic Frontier. So it's the most terrible version of a Frontier you could possibly get. At least you got a little choo-choo on your Juke. You got a manual turbo.
A little
choo-choo. So at least you got a little fun out of yours. There's no fun in mine. I have to make all the fun for mine. Yours comes with a little bit of fun in it.
Well, and it's going to be even more fun coming up, man. I've got some cool things. I know the videos I've been putting out lately are just honestly, it's just content to keep some podcast or some numbers on YouTube going. But I have some power things coming, man. So I've been talking to Z1 about ordering some stuff, and Spencer over there keeps trying to get in my wallet, man. I'm like, Spencer, the times are rough right now. You just can't be getting in a man's wallet. And he's like, what? Our sales are doing great. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. So, but yeah, Danny, I'm thinking a tune, obviously exhaust, maybe a cold air intake, and get all this tuned up. And I've seen where mine's already 188 horsepower. I would easily like to hit 200 horsepower in that thing.
I like that idea. Obviously it's a front-wheel drive vehicle, so once you hit 200 horsepower, you're basically either getting grip and going somewhere, or you're getting steering and going somewhere. So right. Sometimes you can't have both It is a little bit heavier of a little hatch style, so you might be able to get some of that power to the ground a little bit better than some of those Civics with big turbos and stuff like that, where it's, once you start making those front wheels do power and steering, it gets a little interesting.
It's a little choppy. Like when I get into it and the wheels start wanting to spin, you get a little of that bounce, that flutter of the front end, wanting to bounce a little bit.
Yeah, it's a fun car, and if you got a turbo, then you might as well use it, even if you get a little bit out of control.
Well, of course, that's the idea of a turbo, right? Is to get a little out of control. It was either a Juke, Cube, or a Z, and like I said in the video, you guys can watch it. I'm like literally going to document this whole year, the good and the bad of this car, and the boringness of me washing it and all this stuff. I just want to document this car for a year, but so I picked this car up, Danny. I found this at some tiny little mom and pop place that had 7 cars. If you would have seen this, it's on the outskirts of town. It's kind of it was iffy.
Jabroni Joe's?
Yeah, something
Jabroni
like
Joe's
that.
Auto Sales?
Well, it's called Grace Auto. And so
I like Jabroni Joe's better.
But they I knew if I was going to get a Juke, it had to be a manual. Manuals just seem to be a nightmare to find. I don't know why it is, but most of them I see, especially the Nismos, were all CVT automatics, and I'm not riding around with a CVT in something sporty. But so I find this thing, and I instantly see it and I'm like, this is it. I told Kelly, I was like, I found the car. And we were literally, when I filmed, if you watch the first video of me talking, that's me filming, and she's online looking, and you'll see her look up because she's startled that I start filming, and she's like, hey, there's one right here. And I was like, oh my God, 6-speed? That's the car. I knew before I knew,
Well, if you're going to get a Juke, I think that's the one to get.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you get the all-wheel drive, like you said, it's a CVT, right?
Right.
So I don't think it's worth it unless you're Lars Wolf has all kinds of stuff going on with his. I mean, he just put a brand new big turbo. If you haven't followed Lars Wolf and the MPR Multi-Purpose Racer 2.0, he races. He's a rally racing driver. Just put a big Garrett turbo in his Juke, and he's doing all kinds of rad stuff.
And he's on YouTube here. He's just Lars Wolf, I believe, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have a huge YouTube channel yet, but definitely go follow him. He's doing really fun, cool things. So, but he's got an all-wheel drive, but he's dealing with turbo stuff, and I think he's working to try. He's dealing with CVT stuff, but I think he's working to get away from that CVT eventually.
No, he's a 5-speed. I thought he was a 5-speed.
It's possible, but I'm not sure where he's at with it at this point.
He's had so many of these, and I've watched a few of his videos. He's hard to keep up with which car is what anymore.
Yeah, he's doing it. He's deep into it at this point. But
Brian Turnquist, yes, it definitely was a buy here, pay here place, and I just went to the bank and got him some money because I'm not going down that path. Cardetti's like rally cross or bust. No, this car. So there's 2 ways you can take a Juke. I've seen them lifted, and they look really, really cool. And I was looking, honestly, for an all-wheel drive Rogue, like a first-gen Rogue, and I was going to lift that. But I need a resale on this. Like the Rogue, you can buy them so cheap it's stupid. But this one in a year has to go away. So whatever I do, I can't be too stupid with it.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? It's good that you got something fun. I think you've been in the need of something a little bit more sporty. You've had a full run of trucks, and so
yeah.
I'm actually a little bummed. I wish that the truck that my brother-in-law had that he was getting rid of, I wish it was some kind of little Nissan car or whatever. And so I kind of wish that I had a car as well. Right. Because all I have is trucks. You know what I'm saying? I have the race truck, I got the big Frontier, now I have another truck.
SUV, and yeah. No, it's definitely you definitely miss a car. Once you get in a car for a little bit, you kind of miss being lower to the ground, wanting to go around a corner a little bit.
If it's a good car, Dave.
Yes.
If it's a good car, I mean, there are cars that I get into and I can't wait to get back into my truck.
Right. No, but this is because the Juke is a strange car. It's sort of a car. It's sort of an SUV. It's in this weird. It sits higher than a normal car would, but yet I don't know, man. I don't know how you categorize the thing, but I honestly, I love the little thing, and I haven't got to drive it all week, and I've been bummed about it because I have 6 cars in the driveway, so it's like it's my weekend car now, so I have to pull all these cars out to get it back out, and then on the weekend put it up, and so during the week it's not really practical to pull out, but
I can understand that for sure.
But yeah, Spencer over there at Z1's always like, hey man, we can throw a new turbo on that thing and do all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, dude. I gotta buy. I know it's gotta have tires. The rims on this thing are just godly ugly. They're just the worst rims you could put on it. So it's one of those things. Do you want to blow? And there is a slight budget to this car. Obviously, I don't want to spend a ton of money on it. But I do want to wrap it, and I keep putting this in our the videos. To get me to be able to wrap this car, I need watch time on these videos. We need ad revenue. So when you like these videos, it pushes them up and keeps them up into the YouTube analytics, seconds at a time, but it does do that. And Danny, you're experiencing this now because we're dummies with this stuff. And clearly this is in the 5.5 years we've been doing this. This is the first time we've ever been able to live stream like this, but we not always technically savvy. So me and Danny's learning a lot with YouTube on how to monetize.
I'm more technically savvy on this thing back here than I am with this thing right here.
But so just like Danny's you've been reworking your DeGroot X site, trying to get it back up because you've got some videos that are 50,000 views. It's nuts what you've got, man.
Yeah, there's some good content on there. I mean, there's some of my videos aren't the best in the world, but you can definitely see since the first video I shot and moving up towards now, I'm getting better, and there's lots more cool stuff coming out. I'm really editing a ton of stuff. Right. And working on getting some cool, fun stuff out that I'm pretty proud of. I mean, I worked on the race truck last night for a good 3 hours, getting some stuff done, and I'm actually working on it this weekend. So I should have another race truck video out very soon with actual progress, because some of the stuff that I put out is not a lot of progress, but a lot of work or talking about what I'm going to do. So I'm trying to get some of that stuff out, and I'm pretty pumped about it. And eventually, obviously the racetrack's going to be done one day. So there should be some really fun stuff coming out once it is done. But you know what I'm surprised about is not a lot of people watch the Vegas to Reno race. And speaking of Vegas to Reno,
yeah, I am surprised about that one.
The Vegas to Reno, where I was part of the first place Class 7100.
I was just happy you got to finish the race.
I know, I was too. In truth, but that was, I don't know. I thought maybe it's probably me, but I sat there and I watched 2 hours of nonstop video of me in the truck, just out in the desert, and I'm geeking out on that kind of stuff.
Right.
And of course, I edited it down to, whether it was a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there of just in-car footage and us talking and stuff like that. But I tried to get in some of the high points. There was one point where we almost G'd out and cased a big jump. It's kind of hard to tell, but you can definitely hear us say, "Oh shit!" But that was a fun video to edit. Actually, it didn't get a ton of views, but that was so much fun to go back and watch. But lots of fun stuff on there, but yeah, you know what? YouTube's kind of where we're moving with the podcast, and we can call it a podcast, but you know what? YouTube's better to us for the podcast, and it forms better with what we're doing because we're automotive guys, and we want to show off and talk about what we're doing, and it's better for us this way.
Oh no, definitely, and I feel bad at some points of are we neglecting the audio side of it? And obviously, we're still going to put stuff out there. I try to do once a month. We have still a ton of interviews and stuff to get out there, but like Danny was saying, this is our home now, really. It was pretty easy for us to monetize this versus we're already behind the 8 ball. We're Nissan fans. So, there's not, if this was a Toyota thing, and there's a lot of cool Toyota content out there, it would have been nothing to get 10,000 subs. And I know when I was pushing hard to get everybody for that 1,000 subs, man, but it was because you do not, believe it or not, I've put several thousands of dollars into the audio side, and the return wasn't there. Like, and then within basically 6 months of this, I've been pretty honest what we're doing. We're collecting money for flights, for parts on the Juke now, because I've got Danny's first flights pretty much taken care of.
Yes.
So
let's talk about that real quick, Dave.
Sure.
Let's tell everybody what we're going to be doing in, what is it, June?
Yes, the end of June, I think 20th and 21st, Road Atlanta. Z1 invited us to come down there and have some fun. And I think you're going to fly in maybe a day before, and we'll drive down there and maybe head over to Z1's shop. Because I think if you've seen their shop, Danny, you would be so impressed and blown away. Because I can't say it enough that these guys are like a mini Amazon the way they handle something. I ordered a part yesterday, Danny. It was at my doorstep today. Now, granted,
That's awesome.
Atlanta's not that far, but
still, it's Amazon style, you know?
Yeah, like, they're not playing around. I mean, I'm looking for a Z1 gray van all of a sudden, like, door to door here. But those guys, like, I think if you see their shop, dude, you're going to be blown away by the Time Attack car, like the one they previewed at SEMA. Dude, I'm getting there. I'm looking at it. It's on a lift because they're doing some tuning because racing season's coming up for that car. And I'm just like, it's like 6 bays, 6 lifts of just literally the baddest Nissans you can want to see are just right there, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I'm actually really pumped about that. I'm really looking forward to going and talking to those guys. I actually have to get a phone call over to them to talk about some stuff, but I'm really pumped about that. You seem like they seem like they're really interested in working on some of the engine stuff and finding out what they can help to do to further the performance and reliability and how to get these trucks to the next level with what they have. So like the part you bought, it's a simple part, but it's the easy part to overlook, and then you break it, and it could be very expensive. It's that little the heater valve, or the pass-through valve. I don't think it's a valve. It's a pass-through hose piece for the heater, right? That goes into the cabin. It can break, and then you're having all kinds of problems. But it's really cool to see a company say, okay, this is something that's wrong with them. Let's make a piece. It's going to be, let's make a part. Let's make it, durable. It's a nice little aluminum hose piece that they created. And then, right in the market, and it's a great little piece that you can put in, and save you a ton of money. It's probably not that expensive, right?
It wasn't, then at the end of the day, it wasn't expensive at all, really.
But it's great to see a company coming on board, and like I've said, and I think we need to make hats or shirts. Maybe comment, if you're watching this, comment below. If you want a shirt that says "Make Nissan Great Again," let me know, because I want to make shirts and hats. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but I like the idea. Make Nissan Great Again.
Yeah, what Danny knows how to be divisive with our audience. But no, so we're going down to Atlanta. We're going to do our damnedest to get in one of these race cars and see what we can do. But we were invited down by Spencer and the gang down there, and I've never been to Road Atlanta, so and it's a world-class course. It's not like this is like Billy Bob's, eighth of a mile course in the back of his yard. Like, this is legitimate what they do, and they rent out the track for a weekend, and they invite a bunch of their Z friends down. And but Danny, you're gonna get to drive the Juke when you fly in,
Well, that's good for me, bad for you.
I know, I've rode with you in my cars before.
You've seen how I drive, so just know that's what you're. I mean, I'm not coming out there to hold back. Let's just say that. If I'm gonna fly out to Atlanta, I'm gonna find the bottom of that pedal.
Right. Well, I'm telling you, man, you'll be very impressed with these little cars.
Here's the deal, Dave. I think people need to donate money to our cause, and not for you. They need to donate money to me. Well, no, I'm sorry. Let's take that back. They need to throw us some stickers to pay for the tires that I'm gonna roast off the Juke on the truck. Well, I want people to send some money to give Dave new tires, because I'm going to roast the tires straight off the Juke and I fly out to the road Atlanta.
Well, the car definitely needs tires. Yeah, that's part of it. I've been scouring, so I want to find some Z rims for that car because the Z rims will bolt. You only want the fronts though because they're staggered in the rear. But so yeah, like I said, we've got Danny's flights basically paid for now. So I've been trying to now save for a wrap on this car, and that's kind of the next thing. And I want to do a video on how to wrap it, like a guy. I have a little bit of skill with it, but by no means am I a lifestyle off-roader, somebody that professionally wraps cars. But I think that would be part of fun content is like me in my garage having to wrap this car and make it look good, you know? So that's kind of the next thing we want to fund. Obviously, there's getting Danny out. Oh, thank you, Brian Turnquist. That was awesome, dude. And there's little things we want to fund now that you guys just basically liking these things and hitting subscribe do. Of course, the super chats and stuff, those are greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
My last super chat, dude, they went nuts, and I cannot say enough about that.
Well, Brian's only giving the $10. To be fair, Brian's only giving me the $10 because he knows, because he wants me to roast your tires into oblivion. Brian, I can tell you right now that $10. I'm going to use that $10 in about 3 seconds.
Yeah, that money's gone.
But we love it. I appreciate it, buddy.
That money's already gone. But I don't know, man. So I have found there's some Altima rims I have found, some used Altima rims, but they're 16s, and I already have 17s on the car, and I don't want to go smaller. So that's kind of the next thing is I'd really want these to find some Z rims, and if I have to scour some junkyards and I just need the fronts because I don't want the staggered rears. But I think it would look really good that way. Obviously, I'm trying to partner up with Z1. There's some things I want to do down there. I know just right off the bat, exhaust, which something's coming on that really soon. Cold air intake. I know it's a turbo, and cold air intake's a little different, but I do want it to breathe a little better because it'll help when I tune it. In tuning it, you can get so much more out of these little turbos just by tuning.
Yeah, you gotta up the boost a little bit on the choo-choo. Yeah.
So wrapping, exhaust, tires, and a blow-off valve because you got to hear the you can't have a turbo and not hear that So I've got blow-off valve, just little simple things. Stuff that if you were going to buy this car, little simple things that you could do in your home little garage and you didn't need a big fancy lift or anything to do. That's kind of my approach to this car.
Yeah, no, that'll be fun. Well, let's stop talking about the Juke because nobody actually really likes Jukes. Let's talk about this sweet little Frontier that I got, the 2004 automatic KA24DE beast mode of I feel like it has about 10 horsepower, to tell you the truth.
When you were excited by it, you called me and was all excited, and I was like, you did what?
The only way that truck's ever going to be cool is if I put my own snail on that thing. I will say that I got I bought it from my brother-in-law, right?
Right.
It had been broken into at some point in time, and the whole center dash piece, that like the radio bezel, that whole big piece that like kind of cascades from the top of the grill area all the way down to the cup holder area.
Right.
Was gone, and same with the bottom piece down in the center console. So it was just like this gaping hole, and it still doesn't have a radio. But so I bought that piece and I installed that, and then I got the lower radio. Also, it's an automatic, and it has a column shifter. I don't know when they went to column shift. I need to look at it, but a column shift on that little thing is so lame. It is so lame.
Yeah, you sent me a picture of that, and of course, I've never paid attention to any four cylinders in that truck, but I seen that and I was like, well, that don't make any sense at all, because it doesn't even look like it matches the truck.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I know a bunch of them, especially hard bodies earlier in the day, they had the little center shift or whatever, kind of like the exteriors and whatnot. But at some point in time, that truck switched over to a column shift, which is, it's janky. I mean, the shifter is like the size of the blinker. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a really dinky little shifter, but I'd like to give it a turbo and do all kinds of things with it. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I may just drive that thing back and forth until I get the race truck done. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Right.
I'm just going to have a little putt-putt vehicle while I get the red truck back into a fighting shape, while I get the Xterra.
You need a vehicle that you can't do anything to. Like,
yeah,
as long as I've known you.
My wife, the first thing that my wife said is, "You better not do something to that thing." And I was like, "Okay." So.
Has she drove it yet?
No. She won't drive it.
I was going to say, I can't imagine your wife wanting to ride in that thing.
No.
Because it was pretty rough.
I will say I'm getting 19 miles a gallon, which is far better than my 12 or 13 that I'm getting in my red truck, and so I'm pretty happy about that.
God, your red truck, I'll never forget driving back from when we were on the road trip, and like I felt like we were stopping every 200 miles. It was like no joke.
Yeah, well, we were driving probably like we were trying to get back too.
Yeah, we were
driving at like 80, 90 miles an hour, trying to freaking bomb through it. Probably the truck all loaded up. We were probably getting like 14 miles a gallon max.
Yeah, well, because I drove all the way. Like you raced us out of the hills of Moab, and then I took us from Moab proper all the way to Vegas, and yeah, it was like I think I was 80 the whole time. So yeah, it probably was. Chewing it up. But I would say the Juke, 35 miles a gallon, dude.
Oh, yeah.
it's crazy.
Good chew.
Alpine's like 12 miles is amazing, the gallon.
Yeah.
Menzel, definitely I want to...
I'm curious, what's the latest status on Kevin's truck? Like, I haven't seen him in a few years, and what have you been doing? I haven't seen him doing much on Facebook or anything.
Well, we got an interview coming up with him and Josh pretty soon.
Yeah, sure. We got to chat with those characters.
We do, because I talked to him right after my last live podcast, and they were itching to talk about some good times at Moab. So that's coming up on the podcast, the audio side. What you got anything else going on, Danny?
I'll tell you one thing that I have. I'd like everybody to hop in the chat right now and throw Dave some questions, because I have to pee so bad that I'm about to fall off my chair. So throw Dave a couple questions. I'm gonna go take a piss on the side yard and hop back with you in a minute. This is live. That's what happens.
That is what happens. So Manzel, so you were saying, excuse me. You were saying once you install the cold air intake, you'll hear because it has a little factory deal that they want to purposely be quiet, but I do want to put a good blow-off valve on it. You're in a Nismo, so you're already like, 30 horsepower cooler than I'll ever be. But that's cool. I do, like, I know I've been doing a lot of content with the Juke here lately, but I'm surprised how much I actually do like that car. And yes, it's ugly and weird, but that's part of why I like it. And that's probably what drew me to the Xterra initially. It was just weird looking and different with the stadium seating roof and all that. You can see Danny's race truck there in the background. I do appreciate everybody jumping in on this. Obviously, we did announce this because we were literally trying to get the bugs out of doing these. Oh, cool. I'll look up that silencer on that thing. But we literally, this is how we want to do like our live Sunday chats. So definitely, if I can get Danny to participate in those. We obviously, if you're new here, we do a live chat every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central, where we take questions, whatever you want to talk about Nissan related, and just this show is. Yeah, it's me and Danny having fun, but it's because we love this silly brand called Nissan. I want to see him be great again. As Danny was talking about the shirts. They do literally have some really cool things coming. I do have inside connections to Nissan, so that's cool. Yep, I hear Brad's there. Hey, Danny, the important question is, did you Lysol afterwards?
Oh.
Did you Lysol up, buddy?
No. I don't believe in Corona, man. I already had that shit. but Danny, maybe we can on live Sundays include you on these now more. I think that's the plan is to do our live shows on the weekend, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, and really be able to kind of talk to all you folks out there, all of our good buddies, and just try and bring you good content every week.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. We got a couple.
Alpine. Kevin's giving us a lowdown on the way of his truck. New wheels, new tires, new steering, new brake lines, new headlights, new rear. Redid the rear hatch. I actually started to do the hatch on my race truck last night. New headlight. Redid all the wiring and switches. Stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it is when it's a truck like his. If you guys haven't seen Kevin's truck, he has
Google Alpine Spirit Xterra and it'll pop up all over the Googles, man.
Yeah, he was one of those early guys that solid axle swapped his Xterras, and then he exo caged it.
Cut the roof off.
That thing's been through 99.9% of Moab and probably a million other trails.
Yeah. But yeah, so Kevin, you need to go start your truck every once in a while. I literally had to start my Xterra the other day. I haven't drove it in a month, or Kelly's Xterra. Mine I haven't started since last fall, so. But I did.
A monster says my wife loves the Juke because it reminds her of a dragon.
What?
What about the Juke reminds you of a dragon, Dave?
That's a good question. I don't know, dude. I will say, like Danny, when you sit in this car, it's one of the most comfortable cars I've ever sit in. The seating position is amazing. The shifter is all like. The only thing goofy about the car is the radio I have in it, and it's a factory radio, and it's 11, so it doesn't have the cool modern radios we have now. And I'm debating on putting a new radio in it, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I won't have this car long enough to really care,
Yeah, and even my 14 radio, it has like 3 little apps, like you can get into Facebook through the radio, but it's still so janky.
I have thought about putting a CD in it. I don't know why. I just have this, I just want to put a CB in it for some reason. Dumbest thing ever, but I don't know why.
Dave?
Yeah, just because I can put one of my, I've got a dozen CBs in my garage. It's like, I put the big whip on it, so it looks like a remote control car.
If you're going to put a CB and a whip on it, Dave, it has to turn into a rally car.
That is true. Those are laws of the rally car, right?
Man, I forgot Brian had a 5.6 the VK in his truck. He said he's getting about 5 to 11 mpgs, which is pretty sad, Brian.
He's pushing big tires too, though. Heavy rims.
Yeah, no, that's a heavy foot. That's Boondocks. Boondocks got the heavy foot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's crazy to ride with. What else we got going on, Danny, before we end this thing? Because, once again, this was not intended to be what this is. We were literally just testing some stuff out tonight. And super pumped that, dude, I think we've probably done over an hour. Oh, no, it was 9:25.
We love our people that are following us. It's cool that you guys hop on and chat with us. We're stoked to do this. We didn't have a specific agenda. We always got stuff to talk about. We're both a bunch of loudmouths that yammer on for hours. We can talk about Nissans, obviously.
Yep.
And I think a lot of these guys that hop in here and chat with us are probably the same thing. They're probably at home. They just want to listen and talk about Nissan stuff. So we thank you guys so much for hopping on. And, in truth, when you guys are chatting in here with questions and comments and stuff in our live chat, that's what makes this stuff fun. It helps us to be able to just kind of connect with you and have, more than just me and Dave yammering on. It gives us a little bit of fun and stuff to chat about.
Right. Let's see. Oh, the front lights is what a Manster said is why it looks like a dragon. And
I can get that.
I'm wrapping my lights, Danny.
Dragon.
I'm about to order the what would you put the turnstile lights on the top? Would you go orange or yellow?
That's a good question. I'm gonna have to do a Google. I'm gonna Google that. Hold on. Duke headlights. Now I'm curious because obviously this isn't something I've been very. Because there's the lower lights and there's the upper lights.
Well, the upper lights.
The lower lights clear yellow.
The upper lights, I'm thinking of doing yellow or orange because they're just turn signals. Is all they are. So. I'm thinking about tinting those out.
The upper lights are turn signals?
Yep. It's the craziest thing in the driving position. You see these things sticking up, and you see your turning signals flashing.
I just saw this one I saw one car in the Googles that has yellow lowers, and it looks really freaking good.
Gators have to stay orange. Oh,
wait. Gators have to stay orange.
Oh, gotta approve Brian's message here.
Yeah, we approved him. You know what, Dave? I'd say stay. I don't like the yellow or orange or whatever up in the top. I'd say clear that out.
Really?
Yeah. It pulls away from the colors. It's not a good color combo.
Well, let me tell you this. So my thinking is wrapping the car kind of like they do the kicks now. You know how they have a two-tone roof? So I'm thinking the top of the car will be red.
I can see that. Yeah, that would look good.
The top will be red, and then the bottom's going to be like a flat white.
All right. I'm done with that. I still don't think orange is going to look good in there.
You don't think so?
No, you said the top's going to be red?
The roof of the car will be red.
Yeah, don't put orange on it if you got red. What are you, an idiot?
That's why I'm asking these questions.
Well, I'm answering them. You're an idiot. This is brought to you by the Nissan Nation podcast, where when you suck, we tell you.
Yes.
Oh, man. Oh, Monster's disagreeing with me. He says orange. Yep. You can't have red and orange on the car, Dave.
No, that might be before they knew I was going, white and red on the...
You might as well have pink and red.
But I'm almost kind of might thinking about doing a throwback to the BRE stuff a little bit. The red, white, and blue maybe a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you're going to do red, white, and blue, I mean, I feel like you should find a different Nissan combo. I mean, they've had the red, white, and blue in a bunch of different
so hear me out, Danny. So definitely white, because I don't know why I just like white cars. Like they don't show dirt, so I want to change the car to white. But I also was thinking about doing the Speed Racer look. A 5 on the side, 5 on the hood with that white.
I kind of dig it. I think red, white, and black.
Red, white, and black.
There's a couple really cool Nissan race car liveries that are red, white, and black, and I think that's what I'm going to be doing with the race truck. I've seen a couple Ultimas. Well, we'll call them Ultimas. They're just pure race cars with an Ultima body and stuff on some street car Ultimas that Nissan did back in the day. If you pull up a couple different cars, red, white, and black with some really clear,
Kevin,
really clean, whether it's LEDs or projector headlights.
Kevin, if you have any small Gone banners, I'd like to have something for the wall back here. Anyways, sorry, Dan. Yeah, I mean, it's up. I've got Luke's supposed to do me some mock-ups of the wrap I want to do. So we'll let the people basically decide too. Especially if you like and subscribe to this channel, you should have a say in how this car is going to look.
Dave, I'm not against Cordetti Motorsports. He said red and silver, and the car is already like
it's a dark gray, like a gunmetal gray.
I'm not against that. I think you should wrap the top of it in the red, and you know what? If you can find a red that's similar to my truck, I think that would look awesome.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go with a candy apple or something like that. Something that's a little bit more.
Well, I've got some samples.
A little darker red.
I've got some samples that should be here about any time now.
Yeah, I think that might actually look cool, and you can throw some lighter silver accents in there maybe somewhere.
All right, so you probably can't see this, Danny, but it's a flat red.
Yeah, it looks super orange to me.
Yeah, sorry.
Could be just whatever.
But there's well, you can't.
I know you need a bright orange or red color in your life, Dave. Obviously, from your phone.
In my shirt.
How much different color is it from your phone than it is?
Oh no, it would be about that same color.
For those of you that are watching this that don't know, Dave loves fluorescence. If it's fluorescent orange, if it's fluorescent yellow, if it's fluorescent green on his shoes or his T-shirts or whatever, Dave's got a problem. And the only prescription is fluorescence.
I do like bright things. Let's see, where are we at? Notice you guys like the 2000s. We're about the same age. You ever want to do a project from the 90s or 80s, or do you think they're overdone? I will say, so if you don't know, I'm in basically Nashville, Tennessee, and Danny's basically in LA. I know you don't like to claim it, but if you're going to just say in California, you're around LA. And for Danny, I know some of the cool classic 80s and 90s Datsun Nissans are pretty not easy to find, but in good conditions. But I didn't get a ton here towards the East Coast. We got some stuff, but if I find them, they're generally rusted up or I mean, ideally, I was even looking for a 240 something like that. But it's either you found there's a garage find that you can't afford, and you don't want to tear it up, or you find some fourth generation drifter that's just ripped the crap out of the poor car.
Yeah, and so my ideal vehicle, I think, for something that I just want to buy and drive on the weekends or drive a little bit here and there is a twin turbo 300. I sat in that little 300 that I bought that was a kind of a junker that I stuck in the garage and had kind of secondary plans for with no money right. Since I was still turning wrenches on the race truck. The second I sat in it, I thought, wow, this thing's freaking awesome. I need a twin turbo version.
Well, you can always buy a non-turbo and just convert it.
Yeah, I mean, I bought that car for a couple $100. But at the same time, I immediately fell in love with the cockpit feel, everything about it. I haven't driven one yet. And so now I have this kind of like pedestal that I need to get one. And I actually have a line on one, and I'm working towards it. I'm putting money away towards it. I'm hoping it doesn't get sold. I think I know a way to get it, but that's a little bit down in the future. But that's something that I want to do so bad is get a nice clean twin turbo 300 because I feel like that was a real, there was the Supra, and there was a 300Z. Yeah. Those were the big 90s cars, and yeah. 2000s he's talking about, but that's where I'm at. I mean, I guess the 2000s would be 350s.
Yeah.
Right.
03 is when the 50 came out.
Yeah. So, that's where I'm at. As far as 2000s build is. A lot of the trucks were, in my opinion, kind of average until you do some really gnarly stuff with them, and the cars were kind of average as well. It was, in my opinion, there was a little bit of a weird period in the 2000s.
Yeah, that's where Nissan, unfortunately, kind of lost its way. Is when Renault sort of started getting controlling interest and started making their cars a little boring. So it's either if you want a 2000s model, it's either a Z, Xterra, maybe Pathfinder. Like they really don't have a ton of fun cars. The first gen Frontier Titan would be fun to toy with. I would like to lower one and go way back to my roots because my roots are mini trucks, man. When I grew up, that's what we did. It was we had my brother had an 89 S10. He went and bought brand new. As soon as he did it, we cut the springs, did that poor man's drop on it. Rode horrible with rims, all that stuff. Had a hard body that we did that too. So I down the road, I do see where I would like to. I've looked for hard bodies too, which are getting to be a nightmare to find. So I'm always on the lookout for fun Nissan cars, but
yeah.
Well, Danny, I'm about lived out at the moment because we didn't really have anything planned here.
I'm lived out as well too. I think our fellas online are probably ready to get to bed. A monster's over on he's from Cali and he runs a really cool. I believe it's the same guy. A really cool page. He just posts a lot of stuff about Nissan race trucks and stuff like that. I'm totally spaced on it right now. So now it's some really cool, fun Nissan race stuff. But Brian Turquist suggested Neon, and he can go ahead and kick himself right in the nuts because Neons are disgusting.
I think initially he was talking about I need a Neon for a light. NMT light, and then that's turned
You know
into
what? If somebody gave me a neon, I would try and find something to drive over it with.
Hey,
I would
the
that would be my first
SRTs
YouTube video. Can the Frontier drive over the neon?
Those last generation SRTs were actually really fast, man.
Just because they were fast doesn't make them not a neon.
Well, that's true, and it may fall apart as you bought it from the dealership, but they were fast.
Oh, man.
Well, all right, guys. Well, this has been fun. Live Sundays, 7 p.m. Central. Maybe I can get Danny on that. We'll see. This has been fun, Danny. We've been once again. It's like we've tried this forever to get this happen, and somehow I'll forget how I did this, and then.
Yeah. The stars have aligned tonight. We appreciate you guys joining us for this fun, impromptu, unofficial, official podcast tonight. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well. And watch all the videos to get my watch time up.
DAGROOTX for Danny. And obviously, Nissan Nation Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook. Basically, wherever you watch Nissan, you can find us. If you haven't yet, subscribe what we do. Once again, I know I sound like a broken record, but when you like these things, it does push us up the ladder for Google to find us, for YouTube to find us for a little bit. They give you about 24 hours, and then they dump you, and you get lost. So that's why we every YouTuber you see ask that, and that's why they're on to the next thing. So from all things Nissan here in Middle Tennessee to way over there in California, Danny, it's been your Nissan Nation podcast, and what are we?
Probably sick. See ya!
Peace. Oh, in stream. Come on, end it.